I am your host, Stevie. I am sick as all get out, so bear through this episode with me. But Jake Gyllenhaal cannot stop blinking. This is spoilers.
Nice.
Character choice.
This is spoiler. I know that wasn't the greatest spoilers in the world, but my stomach hurts. I can't stop sweating, so I'm going to try and get through this episode and make it enjoyable for our audience as much as possible.
Stevie, this is your flu game, man.
Dude, this is my Larry Bird flu game. Gonna drop, actually, Michael Jordan game.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry.
how sick he is. He doesn't remember who did the
I just didn't remember who did it. It was MJ. Was that?
Stevie, are you an anti-vaxxer?
No.
Scored 38 points in Game 5. Come on.
Sorry. I feel like a failure now. Back in the days when the NBA was great. Do we have a full boat tonight?
Full boat.
Yep.
Vote.
Full boat. That is awesome. This is our, Pappy, this is our, what, third Villeneuve
Fourth.
movie?
Yeah,
Our
fourth.
He's the new king of directors of spoilers, tying Ridley Scott.
Denis Villeneuve.
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve. Okay, let's go around the table from, let's go west to eastus. And let's say your favorite, let's go with this. What's your favorite Hugh Jackman movie? I think I already know
Ooh.
Pappy's.
This is Pappy.
It's gotta be The
recording from
Greatest
Australia?
Showman. Gotta be The Greatest
Denver,
Showman.
Colorado, and this is The Greatest Show. No, I fucking
Yes!
hate that. I hate that movie.
The
so
soundtrack
much.
is so good, dude. It's so
It's
good.
so terrible. I guess I'd have probably Logan is probably his best movie.
Cabron,
I don't even like
bro.
it that much,
I
but
fell asleep during that movie.
yeah, great. I'll go Greatest Showman.
There you go.
It's the best Hugh Jackman movie because to think it's like the same guy who's doing that is the same guy who's beating up Special Paul Dano. It's pretty crazy.
Christ.
All right, who's next?
Me?
Yeah, wow.
Probably. I'm surprised Pap didn't say this is Hugh Jackman's best movie. This is by far his best acted movie. I mean, he's amazing in
Yeah.
this. Everybody's
I thought we were
amazing in
saying
this.
favorite.
Well, his favorite's
Oh,
kind
favorite?
of your best, isn't
Favorite
it?
best? Well, this is same thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm usually after Mikey. Yeah, this is Josh from Goshen. I think Prestige by far is my favorite of his. It's a
Not
Stevie
huge.
favorite. I'm not a huge fan of Huge Jackman. I mean, I think he's a good guy and he's a decent actor, but meh. I'm pretty meh on him. And as far as Mikey's comments, him being great in this, he's pretty good, but he's kind of like a one. He had one speed.
One note.
Yeah,
I highly differ, but that's
Where are they?
Like Leonardo DiCaprio could have played that yelling stuff pretty well.
He was supposed to.
Oh, like Leo is married.
Yeah.
Married and has children.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could never be settled down. But anyway, yeah, I'll pass it on over to
That's
Brett.
Hey, yeah, this is Brett from Fort Wayne, and my favorite Hugh Jackman movie by far is The Prestige.
Nice.
Jordan.
Prestige.
If
Hey,
you
Stevie,
say
how's
it,
it
I
going?
swear to God, just click off now.
I'm not pressing spacebar again. No, this is Jordan from Durham, North Carolina, and it's The Prestige for me. I know it's a favorite of yours.
Yeah.
Stevie.
Nice. Yeah,
It's so stupid.
Christian Bale is so much better than Jackman in
Yeah.
that movie.
Mm-hmm.
he is, but
I like that movie.
I do too. I love it.
Yeah, it's good.
Stevie hates it
It's
so
the worst
much.
of both worlds. Twins and clones. So amazing. God.
Stevie's more of an illusionist
Oh,
guy.
I really am. I love The Illusionist. But
That's good too.
solid movie. I'm your host, Stevie, and my favorite is Prisoners, but I'm just going to say the soundtrack to The Greatest Showman is so good. It's great workout music. Yeah, great workout
Boy's
music.
got some pipes.
But yeah, today we are going to spoil Prisoners, directed by Denis Villeneuve. I really don't like saying that name, but that's what it is. So, this movie starts out with Hugh Jackman's character, Killer Dover, and his son, Ralph, hunting what I imagine is just before Thanksgiving, or do you guys think it's Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah, probably.
Seems
I think
to
it'd be
be.
kind of hard to skin a deer and like get all the meat out like from morning to like when like Thanksgiving lunch is.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, you're banking on shooting a deer that day?
Yeah,
Man.
I mean rough stuff. And
Got set a lot of time aside for prayers too, as well. It takes a long time.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours.
yeah, like that deer's not gonna run off because he's screaming the Lord's Prayer.
Well, do you guys think that was a dead deer that we saw get murked, or how do you think that was filmed?
Special effects.
I don't know. It looked like they kind of had a real dead deer in the trunk, too. I wasn't sure.
If it's hunting, can they show that? Like if it's legal?
You want a dead deer? I can get you a dead deer in half an hour.
No problem, dude.
That's a
Mikey's
good
got his
question, Pat.
crossbow ready to go.
I would think there's got to be rules against doing that on film, but I'm not privy to that. I'm not sure.
Would you be offended if they did shoot a real deer? I'd actually be kind of pumped about
I
it.
would not be offended.
As long as they use the meat.
Exactly. As long as they use the meat and spread it out amongst the cast. Brett, you wouldn't be for it?
No, I said I wouldn't be offended at all.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you would be. I was like,
No,
oh man.
there's way too many deer.
Holy shit.
Deer have to be shot.
There's
This whole article on Wide Open Spaces about that scene, calling it the most realistic hunting scene ever in a Hollywood movie, and it goes into detail on how it was
Do
done.
it, Pat. We got time.
I thought it looked
Was
good.
it a real deer?
It's a cinematic achievement.
It's like 5 seconds long.
I don't know. It did fool me, though, because I was trying to figure out, like, it didn't look like a fake deer. It didn't look CGI, I didn't think, so I don't know.
Even such famous films as The Deer Hunter, whose entire story is centered on hunting, gets it wrong. According to Annie Van Loan of Widespread Open Screens. That's how good this scene is.
Maybe they trained that deer to just fall over.
I don't know. I'm not reading any more of this.
That could be, but they
There's
shoot
an ad for the NRA on here. I'm done with this site.
It's an ad for the NRA. Friends of the pod. But, so this is where we're kind of figuring out that, it's just we're kind of learning the character of Keller Dover. And Mikey, how would you describe him?
Keller Dover is a survivalist. This is Hugh Jackman's character.
He's a psycho.
He, I just finished watching the special features, and Hugh Jackman said if Keller Dover was alive in the 60s, he'd be the guy with a nuclear bunker. So that's this kind of guy.
You know the most important thing your granddad ever taught me? Be ready. Hurricane, flood, whatever it ends up being. No more food gets delivered to the grocery store. Gas stations dry up. People just turn on each other, and all of a sudden, all that stands between you and being dead is you.
Yeah, he talks about, like, because I don't think his son and him have a very close relationship. I think there's a lot of strain there. And he was talking about how his dad told him, like, pretty much when the world goes to shit and everything fails, all you have is you and yourself. It's like, why are you telling this to like a 14-year-old kid?
Damn, Dad,
That
it's
is heavy.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I just shot a deer. Like,
that
why get to
kid's
go
prepared-
here every time?
If that kid's gay, he's not coming out until he's like 40 years old with a dad like that.
His whole advice boiled down to be ready. And so it really sets the stage for, like, when stuff goes down, be ready to, like, do the real shit like a man. And that's kind of like what Hugh Jackman does throughout this film.
Torture special kids?
To the nth degree, does what he feels like he has to do to be a man.
He's almost over the top. Like when it's to the point where his favorite song is the Star Spangled Banner. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Danny.
We know which way this guy votes.
I get
Like-
it. I get what you're trying to say.
very
Yeah, he's
clear.
kind of like a prude about like listening to live music. Like he's like, oh, not my thing. That's fancy boy stuff.
Yeah.
Something.
Basically.
The tradition of music carried down through generations is fancy boy stuff.
You just have to imagine how crazy his dad was to like be like brought up with that and have that instilled in you, and then trying to instill that in your son.
That's a good point.
But it's Thanksgiving Day. They live in the same neighborhood as the people they're walking over to. I imagine a much more well-off and successful couple as far as like monetary goes. I think they're both veterinarians, right?
Yep.
Yeah, both veterinarians. It's just your typical, average Thanksgiving day. Parents kind of want to get drunk, except for Keller. And the kids are kind of going off on their own. And the kids go out to walk, but they have to go out with their siblings. And they come across this RV, this shady-ass RV, just parked out in the neighborhood. Would you guys have ran from this thing if you see it in your neighborhood? It's just kind of out of place.
I mean, as someone who grew up like 2 blocks from a known meth lab,
Did you really?
yeah, man. I'm not gonna
Dox yourself?
I'm not gonna say the name of the house, but everybody knew it.
Jordan, name names.
No, I will not.
Say his full name and we'll bleep out the last name.
I do not believe that for a second.
Hey,
Josh,
they bleeped
Josh
out my
knows who
last
I'm
name.
talking about.
Yeah, we're already deep into edit territory here. It's fine. Just say whatever you want.
Brett
the
wouldn't
kids-
have run from the RV because he's not
No.
afraid of anything, right?
I wouldn't have been afraid of at 14 maybe, but at 34, I'm not afraid of some RV. I got an RV parked out in front of my house like every other week.
Ugh.
Oh.
That's creepy. You should probably take care of that. It might be.
It's not,
It
You
might
should
be Paul
probably
Dano
call
trying
the
to steal your
authorities.
dogs.
He's like, "It's
or
mine."
something.
if it's Paul Dano, I'll be hanging out with him.
But the kids try to mess around with it. Their siblings get them off from it. And they go back, and they're just doing more Thanksgiving stuff. Thanksgiving is a long holiday. It's when you get to someone's house, it's honestly a 10-hour affair at some place, at least in my family. I don't know about you guys. But the girls go to leave again to get their whistle, to get Anna's whistle, because she forgot it. And this is the inciting incident, because they don't get their siblings. Then as time passes, Keller and his wife realize they can't find Anna.
How
Or
freaking
Joy.
phenomenal is the sequence, dude?
Well, describe it, Pap.
I've seen this before, but like every time, like as the parents gradually grow more and more concerned, and I'm not a parent, but your heart just like freaking sinks and your stomach just drops as like, oh, I thought they would be here. Oh, I thought they would be here. And then eventually there's like no more places where they could be. And they come to the conclusion that their kids are missing. Like it's such a gut punch when it happens. I mean, Josh, that has to bother
Yeah,
you,
it
right?
sucks. It's horrible. It's like the worst thing. And I mistakenly chose Nocturnal Animals not too long ago. There's another Gyllenhaal movie about like child kidnap and family invasion. It's just going to be a little rough, man. And I agree. As much as I hated it and felt uncomfortable, Villeneuve found a way to make this whole thing like really realistic, and it's scary as hell. It's horrible.
It's especially gut-wrenching when it's out in the rain and Terrence Howard's character, Franklin, comes running out saying, I can't find them, just screaming and like near crying. It's obviously like a very panic mode, and they realize like this is very real. And that's when Ralph, who I can't remember son Ralph, who the actor's name is, someone looked that up, but he's from Indiana. So Indiana Pride in this movie. Yeah.
Dylan Minnette.
Oh, the guy from 13
Yes.
Reasons Why?
Yep. From Indiana. He remembers the RV, and Denis Villeneuve does something. I can't say his name.
Dylan Minnette. Evansville, Indiana.
Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve. But he does something very smart, because they bring up the RV, which you're like, okay, like this is where we're going to go to next. And actually, this is where we get introduced to Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal's character, Detective Loki.
Best
Josh,
name
how would you?
ever.
Yes, Josh, how would you describe Detective Loki?
Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks. Hey, you have any of those fortune cookie things?
My boss told me cops don't like fortune cookies.
What year were you born? Like, are you a dragon or a snake or a horse? Or
I'm a monkey.
Oh, you're a monkey. You're very intelligent. You have an ability to influence people. I think maybe you could influence your boss to lower the check a little bit.
No, I cannot. My boss is a rooster.
I don't know anything about his past, even after having watched the whole movie, but
Really?
it's Gyllenhaal with a tattoo on his neck,
Dope.
and he's a police officer. He's kind of like a heightened position, so he's like some sort of
Detective.
He's a detective.
Yeah, and he's got some autonomy. He answers to like one guy who's presumably the chief, but I think the main thing early is
Captain.
they make a point to say like this guy's never lost a case, or he's found every beat he's gone after, so he's a genius.
Yeah, but with detectives though, like if you solve every case, which is what they said, that doesn't always mean you're finding people alive.
No, and I think that's
He's
why he's
solving
such a
every
hard
case.
person to get
Right.
along with.
Like, you can solve a kidnapping and a murder, but it doesn't mean you brought those people back alive. I mean, I don't want to like get super dark, but
No, we know how murder works.
oh, really?
Kind of a one way.
Well, didn't he even say something at the end of the movie too, right? Like after everything goes down, he's like, "Well, now I don't have to worry about losing you to some other agency." Like,
Yeah.
he was planning on getting promoted really soon,
Mm-hmm.
even out of this role.
And I also got the sense of like everyone at the station wanted him gone too, because he looks like it seemed to me like no one at the station liked him.
Mm.
Like he was just so focused on his job, and he didn't have a partner. He was just like very by himself and very, I guess, like in his own world throughout the entire movie.
I don't
He's a
think anyone
Freemason.
no one seems to act cold to him. They just seem to know, like, the scene where they interact with him the most is maybe when he's, like, destroying his desk later in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, if you're one of those policemen, like, I'm not walking across that room either. Like, let that dude have his time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're like afraid of him, or they just like
Yeah.
respect him so much they just know he's going to get it done, so they don't need to go to him for anything.
Yeah.
Is
I think
anyone
he's
here a
fiery.
Freemason?
No.
No.
All right. I just
Catholics and Freemasons are kind of like old enemies.
really.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. Well, no, I honestly don't know anything about Freemasons. I just know it's a secret society and there's a lodge in Elkhart. It's all I know. But yeah, he's pretty much a loner. He's eating in a Chinese restaurant Thanksgiving night, and that's when he's alerted over to there's an RV off one of the highways. And Pappy, how does this go down?
He's parked over in a very creepy spot to park an RV at a gas station, the kind of spot you park where nothing good's about to happen. And
Friends of the road.
yeah, Jake Jones. I don't know how the other. Well, there's like an APB, out
Yep.
for this thing. So there's plenty of backup arriving quickly. But Jake Gyllenhaal approaches the car, and Paul Dano like freaks out and throws it in reverse, and he almost gets shot by Jake Gyllenhaal. And had it not been for the backup that arrives, who's screaming, "Don't shoot! Don't shoot!" He probably would have been shot by Jake Gyllenhaal. It would have been a much different story. But instead, he floors it and crashes into a tree. Proving why he shouldn't have a driver's license, as to Hugh Jackman's point.
Yes.
He's 10 years old.
You know what? I was wrong with what I said a minute ago, because he interacts with his fellow policemen here a little bit too. And he shows like some bravery, I guess, when they're about to like go into the trailer for the first time, and he's like, "Let me do it." So I do think they respect him, like Mikey was saying. It's part of it.
Well, like as soon as Paul Dano crashes, he comes out of the RV and then he arrests him, and then he's immediately giving orders to every police officer around him. So he's definitely pulling reins.
Well, there's
on
a scene
everybody.
later when they're in like the TV portion of the interrogation room, and the one guy's like, "Are we ever going to figure out any of this?" And he's like Jake Gyllenhaal basically was like, well, you can go fuck yourself. I'm so pissed. Just on edge the entire time. He's definitely a bit of an asshole. I mean, even when he talks to like the parents too, he just kind of keeps saying the same thing some of the time. Like, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. It's always the same shit.
Yeah.
What's your guys' theory behind the blinking?
It's a fucking weirdo.
I didn't notice that.
He made it
I
a
don't
point throughout the whole movie.
Dude, I can't not notice it. It
Yeah,
drives me kind of
I
crazy.
asked Brittany about it. Like, that was like all his idea. So I think he thought it would add to his character. Like everything about his character, he added himself pretty much.
Yeah.
So
It's probably because he doesn't sleep.
I thought there was both of the main actors kind of showed a wariness as the movie went on. So I buy that, Mikey. Blinks more as he's more tired.
Stressed. Yeah. But I'm not surprised at all that it was a choice by Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, seeing that, I'm like, that's the most actor choice I've ever seen. I'm going to make him blink a lot. Like, that's not something a director or a writer would write to the character.
like apparently he spent 6 years in a boys' home as a kid, so he could have developed that nervous tick there.
When he was getting touched by priests. What?
Okay.
He does bring it up.
He does bring it up
Yeah.
with the priest.
Like, that's like
He
a thing
does.
with his character. I wasn't
He
just
does?
throwing that out there. Yeah.
Is that in the extended version?
No,
No,
the normal
in the
version
regular
even
one.
calls him a chicken hawk.
No.
Mhm.
A what?
A chicken hawk.
So
What-
let
what's
us
that?
non-Catholics know what that means, please.
Yeah.
It's an older person typically referring to priests that prey on young boys or girls.
Eee.
Like Foghorn Leghorn?
Like that, Josh.
Isn't
they
he
ever-
a chicken hawk?
Did they
Oh
ever
my
explicitly say that he was a Catholic priest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did they use the word Catholics?
They use the word father.
They see
Yeah,
the, you see the,
there's
you see
plenty
the
of people
church,
called
don't
fathers.
you? You see the church, don't you? It's like
Mhm.
Saint something something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of saints and a lot of. I'm just saying, I don't think they ever explicitly
said,
said
"I
it was
grew up
Catholic.
in a
I think
boys'
it's
home,
fair
and
to
me
interpret
taking
within the text that it's a Catholic.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
said
it's a-
Catholic boys.
I think it's
He
home.
goes,
fair
and me taking this
assumption.
out on you would bring me a lot of joy.
But we're belaboring that point. Anyway.
Yeah.
Just wondering.
It's
He had the
canon.
facts to back it up.
Canon. Catholic.
Canon Catholic touched by priest. Jake Gyllenhaal is a nervous tick because of it. Okay. So
Got it.
this is one of my favorite parts of the movie because I think Denis Villeneuve is really good at editing and kind of taking your attention away from certain things, make you focus on other things, even while dialogue is going. And so I love the sequence of when Loki is interrogating Paul Dano's character, Alex, and then they kind of go through the shots of them like sweeping and dusting the RV and kind of doing forensic stuff over it. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but I thought it was really smooth and actually rather enjoyable to watch because he honestly could have just focused on Gyllenhaal and Dano the entire time. I just thought,
Which was a pretty interesting because Jake Gyllenhaal has his arm up against the wall,
Yeah,
like cornering
exactly.
Paul Dano. and he's just like cowering in a corner. And Jake Gyllenhaal is like so scary in this movie. He's clearly a psycho, a psycho
You know, it's
cop.
weird. He's kind of playing the opposite role he was in Nocturnal Animals
Mhm.
when Michael Shannon was the dude almost in that same exact pose with the guy up against the wall, about ready to beat his ass.
yeah,
This one was first, though, right? Yeah. So Michael Shannon was playing him?
sure.
Michael Shannon plays no man who's ever lived
I
before.
Agreed.
Okay, take a look at him again. You don't recognize these girls?
I didn't see them. May I sit down?
What do you do in the RV? Answer my questions.
Sleep there.
You sleep in there. You were sleeping out there during the day? Why was the RV parked outside the house?
I went for a drive.
You went for a drive? You weren't driving. I know for a fact those girls were playing outside your RV. You weren't driving, it was parked. Was it a special day? Were you planning on taking two little girls?
No.
Have you done that before?
No.
Did you ask them to come inside?
No.
You asked them to come inside the RV and then you take them away?
No.
Did you put those girls somewhere?
May I sit
Come
down?
on. Did you put those girls somewhere?
Don't touch me.
I know you put those girls somewhere. You hide them?
No.
How'd you hide them? Do you tie them up? Do you tie them up? Huh? Hey. 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 Look, I know you're a good guy, right? I know you're a decent guy. I'm not trying to tell you you're doing anything bad. I'm just trying to get the right answers out of you, okay? The real ones. That's all I want. Where do you usually park your RV, Alex?
My aunt's house.
Your aunt's house.
She lets me park it in the backyard. The grass don't grow back there anymore.
So Loki goes to Alex's aunt's house where he presumably lives and kind of learns the history of the family as to that she's actually his aunt. They adopted him. They had a child. They lost to cancer. And that her husband ran away 5 years ago. Just went up and left. And then as we move on, Nancy and Franklin aren't doing well. Keller is still somewhat normal until Loki arrives at his house. Brett, how would you describe their relationship, like, starting off to this movie? Loki and Keller.
Well, they don't, for like the first half of the movie, they don't have a lot of interaction. Actually, one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie is their first meeting.
Which is this one.
He's screaming at him. He's like, I'm going to need you to calm down. I don't know. They are obviously at odds and they have different, Hugh Jackman's like I'm going to get things done out, even if I have to go outside the law. And Jake Gyllenhaal's like, tries to follow by the book, I guess. Is that, it's pretty contentious pretty much throughout the whole movie.
Mhm.
So, and I thought they were really good together with every scene they were in. So,
Well, there's no reason the cop should want a civilian to like get on a case.
right.
So like, I don't think in his mind Hugh Jackman could or would help him in any way. So he's going by the book, but I do think he goes beyond the book though, as we see in the movie. Like he's constantly breaking into houses and he gets like, yeah, he breaks into like 4 houses. I think that's the main thing.
He's also going to bend the rules too, because Hugh Jackman later requests to keep Paul Dano, which I don't think we mentioned that his character's name is Alex Jones. Which is,
Oh, I got a line there.
Here go after child abductors.
but yeah, he asks them to extend him another day, and Jake Gyllenhaal goes to the chief or whatever, and it tries to like make that happen, but is unsuccessful. So he's trying to even help out Keller a little bit. Hugh
Well,
Jackman.
in the first couple of scenes that they interact in, I'm guessing that Hugh Jackman's character is probably, Keller Dover is probably still a pretty prime suspect. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of times they look to close relatives first. So for all he knows, like he's still a suspect here. He's not going to tell him all the stuff that he thinks he knows.
And I don't know if any of the houses he broke into, other than the last one, he didn't have probable cause to go in.
I'm with you on
So-
that, Brett.
I don't know if I
agree.
would consider it breaking in. I mean, with the father, for sure, I think that's probable cause right there. He looked dead. I don't know if the abandoned house.
But
I
then
just
he
wanna
asked him
say-
permission to look
There was
around.
one line here.
There's like a joke.
What's that, Mikey?
Oh, no, there was just one line here, because we said his name is Alex Jones, that Jake Gyllenhaal says Alex Jones has the IQ of a 10-year-old. So I'm hoping we can, like, cut that out and put it on Instagram. Or something.
Alex Jones, unfortunately, has the IQ of a
It's
10-year-old.
a good catch.
Yeah, so the relationship goes off like on just a terrible foot. And I have one question that's not really important, but so the mom in this movie, Anna's mom, Keller Dover's wife, is like much out of the picture for this movie.
Yeah.
Me and Lauren talked about, do you think she suffered from depression like before this ever kicked off?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Mhm.
She had all those pills around.
She had all those pills around. I don't think she had a job, so Keller probably had to provide pretty much everything.
She's living with a guy that's preparing for the end of the world every day. I mean, that's going to wear on anyone.
Well, but I think she's also kind of like enabling it too, because there's one scene where the actress Maria Bello, she has a great performance where she's just screaming like, "Why can't you bring her back?" Which is just an absurd thing to put on your partner in that circumstance.
You said you could protect us?
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
what-
that was
She's-
cold. That
she's
was
fucked up.
stupid.
Yeah.
That was some
Yeah.
cold Catholic guilt right there. Whew. Bum, bum, bum.
That's awesome. So Loki goes on a sex offender hunt after pretty much telling his captain his boss, because I mean they really don't like each other.
I think it's his boss, but I think Pappy kind of mentioned it earlier. I think he feels like he can get away with it because everyone
going
knows
up.
that he's moving up.
Yeah.
So like his life will probably change at the end because
Mhm.
him screwing up so bad with that guy killing himself.
Yeah, so he's like
Is
telling
probably-
him to like
yeah.
F off throughout the entire movie, and he goes on a sex offender hunt. He's going, pretty much all around these sex offenders. There's 9 in total, and he ends up at a priest who looks like he's passed out on the floor. Jordan, what do we discover?
He discovers that the fridge has been moved, and it covers up like a secret basement area that Jake Gyllenhaal almost kind of walks into. There's like no stairs; it just would drop him about 12 feet. Luckily, he doesn't.
That would have broken an ankle.
Oh yeah, exactly.
End of
He's
movie.
stuck in a different kind of pit. And yeah, so he ends up jumping down in there, and he finds not zombified, but like a rotting corpse,
mummified?
a completely
He's
rotted
mummified.
corpse. No, mummified means you're like wrapped up. I don't know if he was wrapped. I think he was just
He
dead
was
and,
wrapped
like,
up in some old
rotted
rags,
out.
dude. Those
Was he?
clothes were old.
A spooky skeleton.
Does this
Yeah.
take place in Detroit? Like, are there just a bunch of
Pennsylvania.
holes?
Pennsylvania.
Are there just a bunch of holes in the ground where to store people and things? Is that like common?
That was just a basement.
That was a basement connected to the church. He took out the
Other-
stairs.
without
Yeah.
stairs, and then there's the hole under the car.
That's only
There's
2 holes.
There's
Yeah.
there's Hugh Jackman's whole side house that he
It's
has.
not a hole. It's just a house.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. What are all these places?
It's like an
Pennsylvania's
apartment
weird,
complex. That's not a hole, man.
Holes, bro.
They're mole people.
Holes.
Everybody
The
is
mole
sinkholes,
people of
man.
Pennsylvania, right next to the Amish.
It's only 2.
So
It's a lot of holes.
Upon
More
this
than I've ever
part,
been in.
Loki
TMI.
arrests the priest, and this is where I'm led to believe that he was touched as a kid. But you guys can agree or disagree with that. Christ, where was I? So the search continues on, and at this point of the movie, Alex Jones is being let out of holding. Who wants to describe this next sequence of events?
Is this where Hugh Jackman confronts
Yeah.
Alex in the parking lot? Yeah. So Hugh Jackman is super pissed off because Alex Jones is getting out of jail, and they don't have any evidence to hold him there for longer than 2 days, so he's getting out. And Hugh Jackman is running down to the police station, and he sees him in the parking lot, and he's surrounded by news people and cameras and everything, and he starts beating the shit out of Paul Dano's character. And
Good for him.
Paul Dano says something weird while he's getting the shit kicked out
It
of
didn't
him.
cry until I left them.
Yeah.
That's some weird
He
shit.
says something super
Yes.
ominous, and Jackman just flips out because he's like, "Oh, okay, this is evidence here," and then he just starts beating on him as hard as he can, and then he gets pulled off, and then he ends up in the not the precinct, just like in the
He's up in the
captain's
captain's office.
getting talked
Yeah,
to.
which, I mean, this is a pretty big deal just to, assault a suspect, who's getting let out, who obviously has special needs. Not a great look. But this is also the turning point for Hugh Jackman's character, Keller, because this is when he decides that, like all superheroes, something needs to be done. And him and Loki also have no connection anymore. They just hate each other. But I was watching the behind the scenes of how they were shooting this, and I think the acting in this movie was just brilliant because Denis Villeneuve, which Paul Dano and Hugh Jackman were kind of going through the motions of what was going to happen. And Paul Dano and Hugh Jackman were joking throughout these sequences, laughing with each other and just talking and joking with one another. And then a minute later they said action, and then they just flip a switch. So I just thought the acting in this movie was brilliant.
crazy.
I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
And they weren't method acting, too.
They weren't method acting, which I appreciated.
It can
so
be done.
much.
It can be done.
Wow.
Jordan loves method acting.
He wasn't just punching Paul Dano in the face, actually, over and over.
No,
You guys saying that wouldn't have been entertaining? I don't understand your guys' point here.
No, my point is they could interact with each other on set and not call each other by their characters' names. They could be normal people and then go acting like their jobs tell them to do.
Hugh Jackman's just in the bathroom smashing sinks with a hammer, getting ready for his role.
Sharpening his Wolverine
If you watch
claws.
the behind the scenes, if you watch the behind the scenes of this movie, on mute, actually just watch it, if you watch it on mute, you think this movie would be a comedy. They are just laughing the entire time. and then they just flip switches. It's very fascinating to watch.
For a second, with all the sync damage, I thought it was going to be a sequel to a Walk Hard.
Just looking for more syncs.
Rated R for sync brutality.
But after finding out what Alex says to Hugh Jackman's character, Detective Loki goes over to Alex's aunt's house, Holly, and Holly's obviously coaching him throughout that entire interview. And even after she leaves the room, he's just scared to death. So, after this all takes place, it's kidnapping time. It's time to kidnap a suspect.
Jingle bells, rattling smells, frothing blazing.
Alex.
That song. Where'd you hear those words?
Pappy, did you like this sequence?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just really hate Hugh Jackman for doing it. It becomes really apparent that, Paul Dano is probably not all the way there.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's genius about it, though, is on this scene in particular, and on every scene where they have an interaction, there's some weird wispy clue that Paul Dano leaves around that
Yes.
you can't put your finger on it, and it's not completely damning, but in the back of your mind, what the heck does this guy know? And this one, it's he hangs the dog for a second.
I thought
that was the scariest
I thought that
part.
was weird.
It's fucked up.
There's that, and then he's singing the same song that the girls were singing, the Jingle Bells, but with the Batman smells and the Robin laid the eggs verse. So
Because this movie goes so back and forth. There's Paul Dano did it. He's dumb. Then he just hangs a dog. And you're like, oh, he's sinister. Then he's singing that song.
Mm-hmm.
You think that dog hanging thing was kind of cheap, though?
No.
I just don't think it really...
That's the first sign of abusers, though, is they'll abuse animals.
Yeah. And plus, he's been pumped full of LSD his entire life.
Yeah.
He's probably thinking some weird stuff at this point. His brain is
I
fried.
just think after the film, I feel like it was a cheap trick, but I'm not...
it's too obvious.
Yeah, but it also doesn't seem to go along with his character you find out later. I mean, yeah, he's a little kid, but it's obviously supposed to be I don't know, I don't know the terms you guys know, but I don't know.
Well, to be fair,
I was going to say MacGuffin, but I don't think that's the right thing.
But to be fair, Brett, that's the only moment that you see his character where he's not by someone he's afraid of.
That's true.
I mean? It's the only second where he's alone, and then this is kind of his true colors, or what's been imprinted on him after years of being kidnapped. Other times, he's got people yelling in his face.
Yeah, he's being controlled by the grandma lady the entire movie, or by the other guy the entire movie, and so this is his only chance to show some control over something else, some other living being. So I think that's a good, like you said, his true colors.
I think this movie is Brigsby Bear, but if it was actually showing you in Brigsby Bear what was happening in real life.
It's Brigsby Bear! Oh, God. It's Brigsby Bear!
Paul Dano is Kyle.
Yeah.
They do look kind of alike.
So, Keller, his dad, after, or maybe before he committed suicide, left Keller this kind of, would you call it an apartment complex?
Something like that.
Or was it just kind of like a boarding house with a bunch of different
I
apartments?
couldn't tell. I thought it was an apartment at first, but then I thought it was maybe just a big house. I couldn't tell.
I think that's where Brett and I lived in college.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he uses this as a place to store Alex Jones out of sight. And then he goes and grabs Franklin, Terrence Howard's character, and he's like, hey, bro, come check this out. And Franklin is not having any
I'd be
of
really
it.
mad, by the way.
I'd be so upset.
That's pretty cold.
And it was so cheap of Hugh Jackman's character Keller to be like, think of our children.
Yeah, no, it was definitely bad.
Andy didn't tell him before he was incriminated on the evidence. He's like, I'm not going to tell you, just going to show you.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Brett.
Exactly.
Brett, you just rewatched The Office, right? Or you watched it?
I'm watching it.
Do you remember the episode of The Booze Cruise where Michael tells everyone to bring a change of clothes and skiing and swimsuits, they don't know where they're going? It's basically what he does to him. He's like, why do I have a change of clothes? He's like, you'll see.
Yep. Pretty much, yeah. The Booze Cruise, yeah.
You might get some blood on
Except
them.
it's not as jovial because their kids didn't just get kidnapped.
That's true.
Yeah.
What do you think Terrence Howard character's thinking. Like, something's going on here.
Well, I also think his character's always been kind of on, like, the edge about Keller. He's like, yeah, I love Keller, but he's kind of a weird dude at times. He said some stuff that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then he goes
I don't know if I got that.
Then he goes and like does something like this, and it's like, geez. And you can tell like he's super uncomfortable. And Keller's like, no, come here. You hold him while I just beat him over and over again. He'll talk.
Oh my God! What did you do, Keller? What the hell?
I heard them singing the same song they were singing on Thanksgiving. Swear to God, Franklin, the same fucking song. And I told you what he said in the parking lot.
Then we take him to the police.
No. Police won't do shit. He'll just clam up and act crazy like he did last time. Someone has to make him talk. Someone.
Shit, man, this ain't right. I mean, what if you're wrong?
I'm not wrong.
What if you're wrong? What if you only heard what you wanted to hear? What if... Man, I want my daughter back as much as you do, but it ain't right. Frank!
Yeah, Terrence Howard is really good in this movie. He plays like a, I mean, he's not meek or anything. He's still
coward.
So desperate trying to find his daughters, and he'll do anything, but he's not going to do this. And he's like really at a crossroads, and he's
really
much
more of a regular guy, whereas Hugh Jackman's kind of the stereotype.
He's so far on the extreme.
I would say for any of our listeners, though, when you're faced with a situation, that's a must call the cops situation.
Definitely.
You
100%.
don't double down. Yeah, you call the cops right away.
Dude, I think Keller would try to murder him right afterwards.
Maybe.
But what if the cops aren't as good or as good looking as Jake Gyllenhaal, though, man? It's kind of a toss-up. You don't know if you're getting into Gyllenhaal or not.
That's a good point.
I've never seen a cop that looks like Jake Gyllenhaal in my entire life. That doesn't exist.
So this is when Loki starts to do his real detective work. Sorry, coughing fits are coming. Just get used to it. So in the beginning, this RV that Alex Jones was in, I imagine with his Aunt Holly at that time, was parked outside this house. Did you guys pick up on it right away what that house meant? Like, did you think it could be a clue to something else? Because the lady who used to live in that house had her child kidnapped and then moved. That's when he goes to visit her at the other house. Did you guys make a connection at all?
I did not realize that.
Is that supposed to be Paul Dano's old house?
Yeah, that was Paul Dano's old house. He was waiting to see his mom, but she had moved at that point.
Oh.
Because he didn't know any other house.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. So that's why he was parked outside of it in the beginning.
So he just goes there all the time?
There's a really great long cut in the beginning that goes like from the RV. It holds on it till it's parked. Then it doesn't cut again until we get to the Dover house.
Yeah.
I got that it was his house, but I guess I didn't understand that that's why he was there. But
yeah, that's why he was there. He was waiting for his mom to come home.
That makes sense.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and she's still depressed about, the child getting kidnapped, and she's convinced that, same person that took her kid are the same people that took the daughters. So then we get back into, actually, Brett, you'll like this part. We get back into the precinct, and the father is describing what this crazy dude said to him in the basement. That's why he killed him. What did he say, Brett?
The father,
the priest. What did he say the bad man said? That's why he killed him.
Because he was waging a war against God.
Yeah, waging a war against God.
Stevie, rest his case.
One more time for the
waging a war against God. I mean, yeah, that's what this movie's about. It's pretty obvious.
This movie's jumping all over the place. The beatings continue.
Cue that pregame hijack, though, for Brett.
Oh, yeah.
Brett, do you not think it's about that? Because Stevie does. I just like to hear you guys talk about that. Because Brett seems pretty
I think it's about good versus evil.
It.
I think just because it was said twice by two different people doesn't mean the movie's about that. I think Stevie's vague thing about it being about good and evil is a lot more apt and accurate for this. I just think you guys you see ear, hoof prints, you guys immediately talk zebra and not horse.
Wow.
Whoa.
No, I think two-hoofed Satan.
You think of Tim Curry in the movie Legend.
Up there, there's so much room.
Yep.
The best Satan, Brett. The best Satan.
Yeah. There's not a lot of good ones.
No, there's not. So the beatings continue. Not a whole lot of fun to watch. And that's when Franklin goes to like the vigil that's taking place outside their homes and has a panic attack, I'm guessing, because he's super conflicted at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Terrence Howard is probably the most normal character in this movie, like the character that anyone could identify with.
Which is a great scene too.
He's just being torn apart.
I think Viola Davis was a little bit for me because she had
she's
had
such
a little
a
bit
good
of
actress.
She had like a little bit of a hard part when she first saw him, but she was also the most level-headed. Like when Hugh Jackman's in there and his adamantium claws come out, she's like, "Put those away, Wolverine."
So at the vigil, enters like main suspect number 1 at this point. Actually, suspect number 2. So we get this creepy looking dude placing a teddy bear at the vigil.
Played by?
That looks super out of place.
Played by?
Yeah, who's this
I
guy?
only know what he's from. I don't know his name.
He's from, he's the guy in The Dark Knight when,
and Ant-Man, yeah. Schiff.
Yeah, and Ant-Man, yeah.
He's a paranoid schizophrenic. I said I knew what he's from. I didn't know his name.
He's David Dash McClane. His agent must be like, I got the creepy guy for you. You need a creepy looking guy. We got you.
You need a creepy guy? Check this out.
Okay, but he's banking in on that because he's been in some really good movies.
Blade Runner 2049, so he's a Villeneuve guy.
Oh, he's in 12 Monkeys, the TV series.
So, Jordan, what goes down with this guy here, with him and Loki?
The guy realizes that he's being watched by the detective, and he kind of like sinks back into the crowd, and they have a pretty cool kind of foot chase, but the guy clearly knows what he's doing, and he kind of at one point he hides in like a treehouse, and
there's no way he
jumps down on top of him
quickly
from a treehouse, Marv.
I don't know. I mean, Gyllenhaal kind of stopped for a while, and he was trying to look for him, and then he jumps down on top of him from the treehouse. I don't know. That scene was really funny to me.
There's a tie-in here, though, because when he goes to look for Paul Dano inside the trailer, he had like really quickly hidden in that like above cabin thing.
Yeah, that's
so
true. I mean,
if these kids were raised in a maze fighting for their life every day, like
that's true.
That's such a good
maybe
point.
They can hide pretty quick.
He escaped a maze, Josh. I didn't even make that connection.
That guy snuck into the people's houses and was stealing shit too, and like nobody really noticed.
We'll get there. We're
already
so
we there.
No, not till he starts sneaking in the houses yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
We thought we were because we're 44 minutes in, but
jumping ahead.
We're not really. We're only halfway.
This is a long movie, fellas, so I'm sorry. I'm just trying to flesh it out and get your guys' thoughts on it.
Podcast is forever. Tonight's just tonight, Brett.
I know. So, and I promise you, trivia will be a super letdown. Just detectives out there, if you guys are paying attention, you'll get it right away. So, so Franklin's sitting at home with wife, Nancy, and he sees in the TV of what the actual suspect looks like, and he's like, oh, geez, what have we done? And so it's been 5 days, and Franklin's super torn, and he just like breaks down and tells Nancy. And Nancy arrives at Keller's doorstep, and she's like, what have you done? Then immediately goes, let me see him. What have we got in our hands?
She's great.
Did you guys think she was going to go like full out mama bear at some point and just start like whipping him with her purse or something?
I did.
What the hell were you thinking? You tell anyone? Did you?
I want to see him.
She's pretty terrifying at that door.
Yeah. Like, don't mess around with Viola Davis. And so back to the torture chamber, she like wants to get a look at Alex, who's handcuffed to the bottom of this sink and just has a burlap sack over his head. And then she takes that burlap sack off his sack off his head. Jeez, I'm sorry. He is just broken. Like, he has broken eye
Looks like the
broken
Elephant
eye
Man.
sockets, definitely a broken jaw, broken
Did anyone
nose.
lol besides me at this kind of reveal of his face?
I know. I said,
You lolled?
I said gross.
Little bit.
God.
What's the dude from the Goonies?
Sloth?
Sloth. Yeah.
So, Viola Davis, Nancy, is trying to plead with him, and she uncuffs him or unties him. And Homeboy just tries to escape immediately, shoves her aside, breaks a window. And Hugh Jackman, that's the last straw. He's like, I already haven't tortured you enough. Let me devise this terrifying hot water chamber that just burns all your skin off.
And like sensory deprivation, like on top of
How
it.
did he not die?
Well, he said it could also be cold water too. So Stevie, lay out the whole torture here.
But he
we only
used the
saw him
hot
using
water.
the hot, bro. We only saw smoke. It was
He
terrifying.
sets it up like,
Those
I
screams.
can't hurt him anymore without killing him, so I'm going to spray boiling water all over him now. Okay.
So he puts Paul Dano in a slow cooker,
Crock pot.
and he continues. to
So
cook
when he
it.
also gets
Yeah.
this new torture device, and he goes back and grabs Franklin and Nancy again, this is when they're like, "Hey, like we're all cool with you holding this
Punches
kid,
to the
but
face are one thing.
burning his skin off is another, pal." And there's this great moment, beautifully acted moment, where Keller tells Franklin, like, you know what? If you want this to end, here's a hammer. You tear it out and let him go. And he's legitimately gonna, like, take off that plywood and let Alex go. And that's when Nancy gets involved, and she's like, no, think of our children.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was, like, hoping the entire time he was just gonna tear down that plywood.
Yeah, me too.
I was, like, pleading with him from my couch, just tear it down! But nonetheless, she was like, you know what? We're going to pretend we were never a part of this. And Keller's probably going to kill him, so good for him.
Kind of a day ruiner
So-
if you let him out, because then you're gonna have to like take him to the hospital, answer a bunch of questions. Like that's your whole day. Shot.
Yeah, that's kind of your whole day.
What
Whole
is-
day.
You don't have an end plan. You got to talk to the cops.
You're gonna wait in the
Ever.
lobby.
And
Like think
Coffee
about
there
yeah.
So-
sucks.
So Loki's back at the Dovers, and this is when he realizes that Keller is a psychopath. His wife takes him down into the quote-unquote shop, where he has like gas masks and 100 cans of corn and infinite water and a ton of pounds of lye and just everything you can imagine for the end of the world.
I have a question.
This is when Loki...
I have a question for the spoilers,
Yeah.
guys. Would any of you, if money was no object, be doomsday preppers?
Sure.
No.
No.
Who said yes, Brett?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
I think it's okay to be prepared, but he had like
You
ammo.
know he had like...
ammo containers.
Yeah, you know he had an arsenal down there
I
somewhere.
also don't think anything he did in this movie implies that he's a psychopath. I don't know if you're probably just over exaggerating, but
No, neat tucked
No,
rows
no,
of
I-
batteries for your like backup generator and like tons of. It's weird.
I'm just explaining like the extremism of
yeah,
him.
I
Like
figure.
he's a very extreme person.
Yeah, no, I figure that's what you
Like,
meant, but I'm just saying.
There's
Yeah,
just something a tad off with him. That's all. Like, and his dad's suicide obviously didn't help things.
I just don't understand how doomsday prepping could even do anything. Like, it's just such a, like, how can, what's Hugh Jackman gonna do? Like, fight people off with all his guns in whatever, Western Pennsylvania and survive the nuclear holocaust? I don't know. I have no respect for the people who do that. It seems so dumb.
Watches I Am Legend once.
Yeah.
I think it's like reasonable to maybe
This
have
is
like
it.
a
This is
backup
my new
water
life.
supply or like some canned foods for like a prolonged period.
That's
But
different.
like Pat,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
different than...
I think I would just build a
I
bomb
think
shelter.
he had like homemade pipe bombs down there just for safekeeping.
he's ready for like his own personal war.
Yes, that's the only reason I was calling him a psycho, Brad.
If
It's
his
like,
castle was sieged, he knows exactly how long his family
like, and it's
can.
also frustrating with someone like that whose family is strapped for money, and like he's putting all of their money into doomsday prepping.
and not
Like that's not
and not renting
responsible.
out his dad's house either. They bring that
Yes,
up.
that's not
Sorry,
responsible.
kid.
His kid
Yeah.
wants a car.
Can't have a car.
And he's like,
We need
no,
more-
we have to have money for more lime
We need more
next week.
condensed milk.
Our life flows
Like,
low.
that's the reason he's a psychopath to me, and he's not responsible to his family. That's all I'm getting at. Because being irresponsible to him was like doomsday prepping, and not actually taking care of his family.
Yeah, he constructs a
Good point,
like
Stevie.
a full cage, an unbreakable cage for that kid in what, like an hour, and he can't
Can't
fix
renovate
fix
the
up those
place.
apartments.
Cost a fortune.
Yeah.
No, he can't fix it up because it'd be too painful for him. The memories.
Let me go buy some copper pipe. That's cheap.
No shit.
That's all I'm saying. So Loki begins to think like something is amiss with Keller because he's like, every time I'm over here, he's never here. And so the next sequence of events are a lot of fun to watch. Mikey, what goes down? This is when Keller's trying to go back to the apartments.
Yeah, Loki decides to tail Keller. So he follows him, and Keller has been parking into a liquor store parking lot and then walking over to his apartment building. And so he pulls over into the parking lot, and Loki is kind of... He chooses the worst spot to scope out Keller in this situation, in the middle of the street. And he parks his car, and there's a dump truck that pulls up behind him and starts honking so he can get out of the way.
Hey, Matumbo, out of the
And
shop!
Loki is... yeah, and Loki's like, go around, and totally blows his cover. And Keller notices Loki, and so he turns around and goes into the liquor store and grabs a bottle of booze, and Loki goes and parks off into the side parking lot, and then they meet up in
Good
scene.
It's kind of amazing to think
Yeah.
of for like such a sublime scene such as this one. They went through the trouble of like renting out a dump truck and a driver for the dump truck, and that's like on a crappy day like that. I don't know. Just thinking about the filming.
Then adding rain, then adding
Yeah,
snow.
exactly.
Just kind of like the build of a progression, which is like Denis Villeneuve talked about that in behind the scenes, how he wanted a build of a progression. So like the rain was light with him going up to Keller, and then it got heavier, and then when Keller started approaching the car, then it started to snow. So he wanted an atmospheric build up for it.
Why are you following me?
Where are you going just now?
Parked at the liquor store. I have a bottle of liquor. You're the shit hot detective. Work it out.
Actually, man, before that, you were walking in the opposite direction across the parking lot towards Campbell Street.
Yeah, well, I haven't had a drink in 9.5 years. I figured if I walked around the parking lot for a while, by the time they opened, I'd stop wanting it that bad. And then I saw you. Sort of helped me make up my mind.
There's a bag of lye in your basement. It's half empty. Your wife thinks you've been helping us. And we both know that's not true.
I used the lie to bury our dog last year. And helping the cops sounds better than I've been driving aimlessly in my truck because I don't know what the fuck else to do.
Is that what we were doing last Saturday night?
Probably. Am I a suspect?
No, I'm only asking you. I'm only asking because you assaulted a man who's now missing.
And it also helps that those windshield wipers are going the whole time, so it's like I don't know. It's just really awesome sound effect to be like sitting in the car with Loki.
Right, and that
as those
discussion was
windshield wipers are going. It
fantastic.
feels like
too.
you're in there.
Wolverine just chugging
these guys
whisk.
haven't had a drink in 9.5 years.
What do you think I'm doing?
Which, do you guys think that Keller had some issues with alcohol in the past?
Sounds like it.
Made it sound like it.
I
Yeah.
think what he said was true about the 9.5 years.
Yeah, it's probably why the kid was so mad about him drinking.
And I think he stopped once the daughter was born.
She's not 9 years old, is she?
No, yeah, she's not 9. No, but
I bet it's something to do with the mom's depression.
You think so?
For some reason, yeah. I'm not sure.
Very true. But yeah, that discussion got heated, and both the actors act their ass off. And so, let's see what happens next. Okay, yeah. So Keller's even angrier and drunker at this point because he couldn't go back to the torture chamber that he created. So he creates the illusion that he goes home and goes immediately back to more torture. He's like, listen, pal, I was just almost caught. You're going to fry.
I don't have much time left with you. I got to Mel Gibson you quick.
Yeah. We got to do some passion in this room real quick. And so Loki doing more detective work. He realizes that Keller owns that apartment where he was walking to. And he breaks into this place. Was that legal, even though it was like a crack dungeon?
No.
I mean, it was
if he
boarded
has,
up.
I mean, again, probable cause is kind of a gray area
because he thinks at this point Keller is guilty,
right? So, like, it's a moral gray area, I'd imagine. So, probably illegal, but he could probably get off if who knows what kind of probable cause he had or said he had. So,
I think Jake Gyllenhaal knows what's up because he knows that Paul Dano is missing.
Mm-hmm.
He's been missing for like the same amount of time as the girls now at this point, minus 2 days. And so I think he's put 2 and 2 together like real quick, and he's just trying to confirm that Jackman has Dano up in that building.
And he's got to think too, all he's got to do then is, if he does find Paul Dano, say on the report, I just heard screams from outside or something like that, and then he's good.
Yeah, because Hugh Jackman's character, Keller, being so quick thinking, he thinks I'm a drunk at this point. I'm just going to pretend to be asleep.
That was pretty cool. I thought
that was quick. He was quick.
That's probably the best thing he could have done.
Yeah.
What is that movie where Brad Pitt hides in a closet and gets it shot in the face?
Burn After Reading.
Burn After Reading, my least favorite Coen Brothers
easily
movie.
fallen into that sort of scenario.
And so Keller's trying to show Loki around the place, and they're both taking jabs at each other. And just as he's about to find Alex, a phone call comes in.
Deus Ex Machina.
And they found Bob Taylor. And Brett, how would you describe Bob Taylor's place? This was suspect number 2.
Gosh, this was wrong. Like immediately, there was a rotting dead pig in the sink, flies everywhere, and then you go and
making dinner.
Maze wallpaper, though. Think about the set designer who did that. Those were hand drawn.
Yeah, I might not have noticed. What was it?
It was all mazes going up and every inch of the walls were mazes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Those were all hand drawn by the set designer.
So then, his bedroom, I immediately thought, are those are the things you put snakes in, right? Like snake charmer?
Are they?
That's what I feel like I usually see those used for. I mean, they could be used.
I always thought they came in a woven basket.
Well, if you're in a third world country, but
that's where I see snake charmers.
Yeah, but there's people here, but they could just be regular totes. But
Brett, so I got to ask you, if you're describing the scene, do you get the plot and what's actually happening here with this character? Because I feel like it gets a little confusing here.
I told Brittany, I said, there was a 5 minutes part, 5 to 10 minutes of the next 5-10 minutes where I said, man, I just got really confused. I think they explain it a little bit later, but they used a lot of pronouns, and it kind of threw me off a little bit with the mazes in the author of the book and him getting kidnapped and him running away. It just a lot of pronouns used to talk about a couple people. So
does anyone feel qualified to what's this character's role?
I think this guy was definitely a pervert. He was just fetishizing he was just living out his fantasies without kind of doing anything.
He was play acting. Yeah. So Bob Taylor was kidnapped by these same people, and he was obviously under a lot of LSD, ketamine, and tortured by snakes. And he ended up becoming obsessed with mazes. And that's why he was drawn on all around his wallpaper pretty much. He was obsessed with mazes.
So he wasn't doing anything at the bidding of this lady still? He's
No.
Oh, okay.
No, because he couldn't remember where he was, and he read this book called The Invisible Man, and he thought he was kidnapped by that same guy. So what he would do is like he would like play act and reenact those same murders. So that's why he was going to like the Value Mart and buying kids' clothes to put on fake mannequins. And that's why he was over at Franklin's and over at the Kellers or the Dovers stealing their like children's clothes. So he could like put them
tokens of that event happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh. Okay. So why does he shoot himself?
Yeah. Well,
he's under a lot of stress.
I think that was also part of his play fantasy that if he ever got caught, he would try to like end it. I think that probably went through like because I think honestly in his head he thought he was committing these murders. I really do.
Yeah, I think he was like at the point of if he's not the one doing it, he's gonna be doing it in some time.
He was one messed up dude. And back at the station, like you said,
that's a good explanation, Stevie.
Was it okay?
That's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, I try. Trying to get through this. There's a lot of exposition in this movie.
A lot of ins, a lot of outs, dude.
A lot of ins, a lot of outs. She's in our hands, dude. So, yeah, back at the station, things go very awry. Not my favorite part of the movie, but it's well acted that Bob Taylor gets a hold of one of the guns while in custody and ends up offing himself.
Yeah, it's bad protocol like they did right there. Everything about that was bad.
Yeah, not the best. So, back to the torture chamber. Alex, who hasn't said a word in probably an hour, says that they're in the maze. Like,
yeah.
What the hell was that?
Anna? Joy?
Sorry. Long story short, my wife just let out a loud cough. We're both sick. So that's who you guys heard.
Sure.
But yeah, it tells them that they're in the maze. And Keller goes back over to the aunt's house for more exposition. Lost so much exposition in this movie. But Loki being frustrated, and after his captain tells him, like, there's no way you're getting promoted now. Sorry. Like, you're going to be stuck here in, bumfuck Pennsylvania for a while. Loki thrashes around his desk and falls upon this photo that reveals that the maze that Bob Taylor was drawing is the exact same design as the dead body they found in the church's basement. Yeah, lots of stuff to this. But next, big news. Joy has been found, but no sight of Anna.
Oh, nobody gets beyond this point.
Don't touch me.
Yes, wait a minute.
It's okay.
Nancy, Grace, you'll find Anne. I know they will. I know they will. I know. How is she?
Is she awake? Joy, were you far from the street? How far from the street were you, Joy? Joy.
You can't be doing this
How long
now.
did it take you to get there? Just let me ask a question, please.
Tell her.
The detective will be back in just a minute. You need to wait. She's been drugged.
Joy. Sweetheart. Just let us know she's alive, okay? Can you just nod your head, baby? Just nod your head. Baby. Can you give us a nod? Can you nod your head for us, please? Joy.
Pappy, what'd you think of these next sequences in the hospital? Because I was thrown such a curveball when I watched this for the first time.
Yeah, because it's really confusing because one of the things the daughter, not Hugh Jackman's daughter, the other daughter, says is, "You were there." And it's like, what? What do you mean I was there?
I thought he was part of it.
Incriminating him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It kind of throws you for a loop, but while Wolverine is interrogating this poor little girl who's coming down off a serious
wake up
acid trip, he does put together that what she means by that is it was Paul Dano's house that he was at, and that's where the girls were being kept. So he immediately goes there.
For like the next 8 minutes while I was watching the movie, I kept repeating over and over, I go, it put tape on us. I was like scrambling to try to figure out what that meant. I don't know if I still ever did, but...
Is that a callback to Silence of the Lambs with like, it puts lotion on his skin?
I doubt it, but that would be funny. Like,
she's a big fan of Hannibal Lecter.
Because you have to remember, with these people under so much like LSD and ketamine, that they're never going to be able to like identify their captors ever.
I kept trying to see if they saw him do something with tape and why they said it. I get it now. That you're right, the drugs, but I just kept saying that over and over again. Plus, it was kind of that whole scene in the hospital was like awkward because like you want Joy to be able to rest, but at the same time you get it from the
Keller is making it so
but at the same
impossible.
time you get that side too. And actually, the mom was kind of the one pressing early. It's kind of like
it's all those pills,
it
man.
was like, time is of the essence, but at the same time, the girl's like really tripping. It was kind of uncomfortable.
That's good writing too, because like the mom kind of sets the seed, like breaks the ice, like this is the lengths we need to go through, and then like it's up to the man to like follow through to the end.
Mm-hmm. And here's like where the frustrating part was, because it's like obviously it didn't it didn't help things that like Dover's a little off his rocker at this point, not sleeping, drinking a lot, torturing a poor bastard to death. Like, he's obviously not all there. All he had to do was talk to Loki and say, listen, I know we were foe, but now we can be bro. I think I know where my daughter is.
That made me mad.
That's all he had to do. But I think it was a flip of the coin to him. It was either I go let Alex out right now and maybe get caught, or I try to go save my daughter. I think it was a split decision for him because he knew he wasn't getting out of, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, I don't think he saw light at the end of the tunnel where he got away with this scot-free.
Right.
And plus, it didn't help that their relationship was so fractured at this point.
Can I do the next scene, Stevie?
Please. Are you going to talk about the chase?
No, well...
Or are we just going to go to the Holly Jones's house?
To the you do the chase.
Okay, so Jake thinks he has it all figured out. He's like, that mother effer, he's going to kill his daughter. And so Jake goes back to the apartments, and he's pretty much looking for Anna at this point. And that's when he stumbles upon just the creepiest screams you can imagine of a poor 10-year-old's mind who's been fried to death. But then we cut back to Holly Jones's house. Josh, what ensues?
Well, this is when it's revealed that it's like a Friday the 13th plot, and it's the mom the whole time. And I really wanted to say that line like this whole pod, so thank you for letting me do this scene.
Good.
But I think so what happens here is Hugh Jackman comes in the door, is playing coy, and like goes to the counter, and she pulls a gun on him, and it's like that's the Scooby-Doo like reveal moment. But I was really frustrated because I just wanted him to like tackle her to the ground like as soon as she opened the door. Like,
yeah,
he's gone so far in like every moment of his life, like. He's got a pretty strong hunch here. Like, the gig's up. She's right there. Punch this old lady in the nose and find your girl. Like, now.
So miscalculated, too, because she already knows that Anna got out. Or not Anna, but Joy got out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, if this guy comes, and why he didn't just pull a gun on her the immediate moment that she turned her back is beyond me. It's like, just... that was a frustrating part. But what happens next, Josh?
It puts him in the hole.
Well, yeah, she makes him drink the stuff.
Yeah, he has to drink the purple Kool-Aid, which makes you feel... Or that's the ketamine, I guess, as Stevie's saying. It's
how do we know what...
Zombifies
how do you know what that is? Does she say it?
No. Jake, Detective Loki said that when Bob Taylor got released, he tested positive for LSD and ketamine. So there you go.
She drugs him all up, says it's something that her husband had made, and I think what they're saying is the husband is the guy that the Catholic priest killed in the Catholic basement.
Well, that's
the priest.
Yeah, that's what we come to realize later.
In the non-denominational basement.
And it's like such like a disheartening part too, because they talked about like how it like made you obey and kind of zombified you, and Holly Jones, there's not one point where she like puts the gun down from him while she's walking him outside, and she's saying some cold-blooded stuff.
Yeah, she's fucking
like, I had your
mean.
daughter down there before the police started rummaging around, and he like after she shoots him in the leg and makes him jump down there.
I like how she's like, he says before she does that, he's like, well, this is the point where you got to shoot me because I'm not getting in that hole just from you asking.
Yeah. Bang.
Yeah, and she's like, I really hope you're alive tomorrow when I dump your daughter's, dead body down there. It's like, jeez.
Anna! I had the girls down there while the police came poking around. Should have left him down there. I was so lonely without Alex. But get in there.
What?
Get in.
You want me to get in there? You're gonna have to shoot me. I'm not gonna get in there just because you asked.
It's some dark stuff, and this is kind of like the all is like lost moment. And back at the torture chamber, Chief is like, "Hey man, you gotta go talk to Holly Jones. Like, tell her, you know, her nephew's gonna be unrecognizable and probably will die tonight. But just let her know that we found him." And so Loki gets over to the house. Pappy, how's this go down?
So Loki, does he knock or does he just come in? He tries.
The door's ajar. The door's already ajar.
Yeah, breaks another entering. And was this the one who said was potentially questionable, probable cause, Brett?
Yeah.
He goes in, and then she is shooting up poor little Anna with more ketamine or something. And
I think it was a lethal dose.
Yeah, it was something that was going to kill her for sure.
It was going to kill her.
And it's basically kind of another standoff where, again, Jake Gyllenhaal's trying to not have to pull his gun. I think that's a really compelling part of his character. Like before with Paul Dano, he has a very open shot and could kill this person, but they do kind of wait a little bit, and it's Sergio Leone style, good, the bad, and the ugly showdown. She pulls her gun.
Ugly.
And I thought he got shot in the face at first, didn't you?
Me too, yeah.
It grazed his head,
he got shot in the head for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought, I was like, dude, he got shot in the eye again, like in Nocturnal Animals.
That beautiful hair. So beautiful.
He's a beautiful man.
So beautiful.
Luckily, he's able to snipe down the old woman from Mandy faster than she was him. And that's the end of that.
The old...
She's like still saying some fucked up stuff. She's like, "You're going to have to put me in the incinerator because I'm not going to go
make sure
in
to
the ground
me
or
because
something."
I don't want to be put
She's
in a
like,
box or something like that.
Yeah. And at this point, her killing the kid is like kind of moot and just like a spite move. And like her big mistake here is that she thought Gyllenhaal had it like figured out, and he was literally just coming to give her like his regards and tell her what was happening. And she, you know, she would have been fine and been able to kill both Hugh Jackman and his daughter if she just let it be.
I don't think she expected him to be there.
Her whole motivation is so stupid. I don't understand. Like, she's trying to get people to not believe in God anymore.
Correct.
Just
because she believes so
put one
hard.
of those
They used to
Jesus
travel around
fish
the
with
country.
the evolution feet on it. If that's what you want to do, I mean, why read a Carl Sagan book or something? I don't know. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like,
She's psychotic, man.
Yeah, because her and her husband used to travel around and hand out pamphlets.
I guess.
And then when their son died of cancer, they were like, "Screw this! We're gonna start kidnapping and killing children."
It's an interesting motivation for a character, but yeah, she gets shot dead, and that's kind of the end of it. Well, almost.
Yeah, well, that's when I think like one of the most beautiful parts of the movie comes. It's like he's having blood in his eye as he's driving 100 miles an hour trying to get to the hospital
nuts.
while it's sleeting out and there's traffic everywhere. So beautifully shot.
Amazing.
Have you guys all had a panic moment like that? Probably not from blood, but like weather's getting bad and you're going fast and it's nighttime and it's blurry and you're just like, ah!
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I make my wife drive.
That's my daily drive to and
South
from
Bend,
work.
Indiana. It's horrible.
Blood included.
I'm always on edge.
So Jake is driving Anna to the hospital and saves the day. And that's when you just kind of realize like how disconnected like Jake tries to stay away from people, because all these people are like trying to congratulate him. Like he sees Anna, and you know Keller's wife is like trying to like say thank you and this, that, and the other, and he's so stoic.
Yeah, I think he's pretty jacked up though a little bit. That's what I felt
Yeah, you
that
think
way.
so?
I could be wrong though. I agree with you.
He was just shot in the face.
Yeah,
he
I think
was.
he's probably on some pain meds and
Hasn't slept in a
disoriented.
while.
Yeah,
He's probably pissed that Hugh Jackman figured it out before he did.
Well, and they didn't know though at the time though, right?
He's been blinking for like 6 days straight. It gets rough. Yeah, I agree with Brett though. He didn't Yeah, no one knew where Hugh Jackman was.
They thought that Hugh Jackman just took off.
They had to have found his truck back there, right?
Well, luckily they explained it when I said to Brittany, I was like, it's been days and they haven't ripped that property to shreds, but then they kind of show it. I still don't like how they're digging little parts. They should canvas the whole place before they start digging holes, but whatever.
That lady had proven that she's like good at battling forensics. Like, she took his truck away, and they make a point of showing that. But further than that, they like rip apart the Winnebago or whatever you call it, the trailer RV.
Not one.
Yeah,
thing.
she left no trace in there. Like, she.
How about move?
And they
the
also
car?
they also investigated. Like, they put the forensic team in Alex Jones's house, and they found nothing.
Move the car.
They found nothing but a bunch of gay frogs and chemtrails in Alex Jones's house.
Oh God.
Tinfoil hats everywhere.
This is the end of the movie where, Jake Gyllenhaal is going to the CSI team, and they're like, this is going to take weeks to excavate. It said in the paper they still haven't found Keller. And they're just saying, we just found a bunch of dead snakes, which comes back to the whole Bob Taylor thing. Like, he was probably tortured by snakes, like, a lot, and that's why he was doing the same thing with his play acting. And Jake Gyllenhaal's just kind of standing around chilling, and he hears a faint whistle.
Titanic whistle.
And he turns around and shakes it off. Then he hears another faint whistle, and he's like, no way. And then we hear a third whistle, and he turns around, and that's when it cuts. I think they found Keller.
Yes, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's too good of a detective not to
Exactly,
find
and
him.
people online were saying it ends with ambiguity, but
No, they found him.
I agree.
I felt it was somewhat ambiguous, but then, like, the longer I thought about it and I was reading about it, that I think it's a lot less ambiguous than I think, like
he's like looking in the same direction as the car.
This whistle
For sure.
has come
I
up
think-
like 6 times throughout the tale. Like,
dude, there's a little bit of like awesome acting right there. Like after the second whistle, I think he like has completely convinced himself he's hearing things, and he like his head turns. Man, he's so
'Cause
amazing.
Her mom even says in the hospital, like Anna was like adamant that they found her whistle.
Mm-hmm.
So like he has that in the back of his mind that like no, like there was a whistle.
Which I
here.
love that too, because it's set up at the beginning of the film, like Josh was saying, it comes up over and over again that Hugh Jackman tried to give his little 10-year-old girl this, like, I don't know what you call it, rape whistle, abduction whistle, whatever. Like a little, and like everyone kind of at the party.
It ends up saving.
Well, yeah,
him.
it saves him, but it doesn't save her. You know what I mean? Despite all of his doomsday
Yeah.
prepping and his bunker building and everything, even though he gave her the whistle, she still got kidnapped, and he was kind of, unable to help her in that way.
You all done for the night?
Yeah, the ground's frozen solid. It's gonna take weeks to excavate the entire property. Just found some dead snakes and shit.
Pray for the best, prepare for the worst, yeah?
Night.
Night.
Yeah, and that is all of this movie. Are you guys pumped for trivia?
I have one quick question. Did they ever
CC.
explain how Joy actually got out? I'm kind of confused about that.
I imagine that when she was going to give, well,
Was it when she was moving them?
No, the way I look at it was, she was probably like wearing off, like the LSD and ketamine was probably wearing off, and Joy was trying to lead Anna out, and that's why like Joy got out and Anna didn't, because she was like second behind, and that's when Holly grabbed her.
Was it Holly or
That's
was
the
it
only
one of
thing
the
I could-
guys that grabbed her?
No, it was Holly.
okay.
It looked like a
What do you
guy. I
mean,
thought it was a
guys?
guy, but there's no guys. I mean,
There's no guys, it's just one lady.
I'm not sure.
Well, isn't well, that's not true because Paul Dano, it's like actually is complicit in this in a way.
But he's locked up at that point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, dude, he's dead. Which, yeah, at the end of the movie, we find
No, he's
out
not dead.
he was actually a guy.
He's not dead.
Well,
He gets
I know,
reunited
but-
with his family.
Well, yeah, reunited maybe, but he's not going to do a lot of talking or walking or really much of anything. He's kind of done. Yeah, he was
What do
buried.
you mean? He's just been boiled a bit.
He's just been boiled alive and beaten to a pulp. He's good. Throw a Band-Aid on it.
He'll
He'll be
learn to
fine.
trust again.
I don't think it could be boiling. I mean, are you being like facetious and like with the boiling? I mean,
He's definitely burning.
Dude, there was smoke coming out of that place. He was
That
burning.
was steam. go turn your shower on.
Okay, go put your hand under hot water and tell me if it burns or not, and then
And then have
We'll get
it
into
poured
the
on you by
semantics
Hugh
of
Jackman when
boiling
you have a
or burning.
broken
Burning
jaw.
and boiling are. I'm just trying to say, burning and boiling are different.
it hurt. It hurt a lot.
Yes, but his skin's not melted off, probably.
And he smiled way too much when he was like, "We control the temperature here." Like
That Seinfeld episode where Kramer turns into like a chicken is all burnt and shit. That's exactly what Paul Dano looks like.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, very, very true. So, you guys ready for yes or no's?
Cooking in the shower.
See.
See.
All right.
Well, yeah.
Let's go from Weesis to Esis again. Pap, let's start with you.
Yes, I think as we talked about, it's a very complex and long piece of art. It's not exactly an uplifting movie, but a lot of great directors will have a movie like this that's kind of, you know, more dour, more depressing, true crime oriented, and I don't think it's a coincidence that DV's in the 4 movie club and become king of spoilers. He's one of the most exciting filmmakers alive today. Hard yes, you should see this in all of his movies.
Solid.
This is like the biggest yes I think I'll give in spoilers for me. I love this movie, and I know it's really long. It's 2.5 hours long, but it goes by really quick, and every scene adds something. So that's why it doesn't feel like you're wasting time watching any part of this movie. But we kind of glossed over like Jackman and Gyllenhaal kind of like parallel each other with like Jackman is wearing a cross, and then Gyllenhaal has like a tattoo of a cross on his hand, and
Freemason.
I don't know. I just thought it was like interesting how like Jackman still has faith in religion and stuff, and he's like pushed to the absolute extreme. And Gyllenhaal has he's been abused in church, or so we think, and he's just kind of like he's just kind of above it all. He like knows that he's a realist. He doesn't really see religion as like something that will work in his line of work. So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. But I think
Nice.
this movie does what Nocturnal Animals is trying to do later on. I think this is the real family horror movie. It's just so dark, but it ends up having a happy ending. I don't know. I just love this movie so much. It's shot really well. It's super kind of creepy. I love it. So super hard yes.
Super. Actually, let's go over to Brett.
I'm going to try to say a bunch of stuff real quick. One thing, first of all, this movie is like a raging yes for me. Just get that out of the way right now. This movie did something I don't really like that movies do. Early on in the movie, they make it like a lose-lose situation. So I feel like they did that with Hugh Jackman's. When he kidnapped Paul Dano, I immediately just felt like really down and had a lot of anxiety. It's like no matter what outcome happens, I feel like it's going to be like a big loss. So that it was done really well. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's like either the girls are dead or they're all going to go to prison for 15, 20, 25 years or...
Yeah.
So they raised the stakes really early but it ended up being awesome. Jake, I have not seen enough Jake Gyllenhaal movies. He is like unbelievable. I mean, Paul Dano's amazing. I thought Hugh Jackman was really great. I always forget that he's Australian and he's got like a really good American accent. Viola Davis is awesome. Terrence Howard was awesome. This movie was just, I told Brittany though, like if you didn't find Hugh Jackman at the end, I was going to like knock it down a half star. But the little Titanic whistle at the end was unbelievable.
Oh, Titanic whistle.
Unbelievable.
Yes. Cue the music.
So I actually on Letterboxd, I give this 5 stars on Letterboxd. So it's a yes, big time.
Paul Dano, 3 Movie Club.
Jackman at least 2.
Jackman 2. Yep.
Just 3 for Dano?
Swiss Army Man, Okja, which Jake Gyllenhaal is also in 3 Movie Club.
It's 4 things. We also did
lyrics or whatever it's called. Love and Mercy.
Wow.
Gyllenhaal's got to be
Dano.
up there too, right?
Gyllenhaal's got to have like 5.
Yeah.
Okja, Nocturnal Animals.
He's up there too.
4. Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko.
Enemy?
5.
Enemy.
Damn. New king of spoilers.
Damn, Jay, get it. Jordan, what'd you think of this movie?
I agree with everything that's been said. You guys all nailed it. I mean, I don't have too much more to add. I think it's really well acted. The direction is awesome. I love my boy Denny. Stevie, I'm really happy you picked this movie. Definite hard raging yes.
Oh, yeah.
Pre-cum, yes.
And Josh, I kept you for
no,
last.
not November, yes.
I didn't know which way you'd sit about this movie because, like, you have children, and I can't imagine, like, that sense of, like, losing a child feels. So I didn't know if you'd give this a yes or no, so I left you for last. So what do you think?
I think I'm prepared for that happening now a little tiny bit more. Like, I need to start getting some batteries for my backup generators now.
Some lie. Get some
lie for sure. But this movie is just so well written and acted. It's a yes for me, even though it is... I mean, we call it dour, but when you look at the movie from front to back, everyone that we love ends up alive, and that's kind of a big win. So it ends kind of happy, like especially that the kids are alive, and Hugh Jackman will be going to jail for what he deserves to go to jail for. But I have 2 problems with this movie, even though it's a big yes for me. One is that I think what Nocturnal Animals did do better than this was when they went to the weird place, they went there and stayed there and dwelled in it, where this one kind of dabbled in it with the snakes, and it didn't really work for me.
Yeah.
Plus, I think Jake Gyllenhaal works more as like the vulnerable character. Like, he's the sheriff in this one, whereas Michael Shannon's the sheriff character in the other one. Either way, Jake Gyllenhaal is amazing. And my other problem is that Hugh Jackman's like eccentricism and torturing kind of is vindicated in the end. He figures it out, and like he gets there, and it's kind of all because he's been going vigilante, and I don't love that message. But anyway, it's a solid yes. And guys, the more Jake Gyllenhaal we do, is he like he's like the best actor we got in our generation.
I was thinking that the whole episode.
He's my favorite actor.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten to Nightcrawler yet.
Bro. Do Nightcrawler
Brett,
next
who would
week.
you have above him?
Back Mountain.
I mean, I'm a really big Christian Bale fan.
He was
I mean,
supposed to be in
there's a little
this.
guy-
Mark
there's a little guy called
Wahlberg
Daniel
and
Day-Lewis
Christian
is
Bale were
alive.
supposed to be in this.
And Leo
There's
DiCaprio
some young
too.
British actors that I think are really good. But again, I'm kind of newer to Gyllenhaal. I think he's amazing. I'm just a huge Christian Bale fan, but Gyllenhaal's amazing
The
too.
thing is, Gyllenhaal is like 10 years younger than
7
Christian
years.
Bale.
But yeah.
And has won like nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He will.
Biggest travesty in Hollywood. He's going to get that Leo DiCaprio award. He's going to get the award for not his best movie.
Unfortunately.
It's just going to be an
If I were
accumulation
him,
effect.
I would never want an award now. Like, fuck it. Sorry for cursing, but like, screw them. He's earned it multiple times.
Jake
over.
Gyllenhaal will have to be in Black Panther 2 to win an Oscar, probably.
He's
gonna be in Spider-Man.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
gonna be
pumped
cool.
for that.
He's got to get in the MCU universe somehow.
He is, yeah.
He's a bad guy.
Oh no,
He's gonna be in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Wait, he is?
Yeah,
He's a villain. He's gonna be a villain in the new Spider-Man.
Oh, man, I love Spider-Man so much.
Spider-Man.
Stevie, you're up.
Okay, yes, this is down to me. I know this is going to sound really weird, but I've seen this movie so many times, and I absolutely love this movie. It's so well written, and the thing that I just found fascinating while watching behind the scenes was just the acting is so brilliant. Because if you watch the behind the scenes, Denny lets these guys go. He kind of gives them a position, and obviously they know the script, and he kind of just gives them a vague of kind of go for this, or here's what we're going to look for in this, and the actors just get after it. And how quickly they can flip their switches and go back to just being normal people and, talking on set and coming up with ideas with each other is really just fascinating to watch. So, hard, yes. Jake Gyllenhaal is an incredible actor. I hope he never stops making movies. So, yes, hard,
I thought you were going to
yes.
say, this is going to sound really weird, but I'm going to have to give this a no, guys.
No.
This is the hardest no.
I know it's a dark movie, but this is one of my favorite movies. I've seen this movie a lot.
I can't believe you put yourself through
So,
that, man.
yeah.
This is a drudge.
I know, but it's very well. It's a good movie, though. I like watching.
Is
good
that behind the
movies.
stuff scenes just on YouTube?
Yeah.
Just look it up there. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely going to buy the Blu-ray to this. Hope I can find more, but I just found most of it on YouTube.
Sweet,
So.
I'll check that out.
Y'all ready for some trivia?
Yeah, ready for this?
All right, for my detectives. Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie, Detective Loki, said everything matters. So, computers down, pencils down. Actually, take your pencils out if you need to do some math.
Oh,
If you take the single digits of Holly Jones's address, what does it add up to?
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
It's in a big frame, and it's impossible to miss before he walks into the home trying to find Anna.
How many digits is it? Will you give us that even?
I won't tell
No,
you.
yeah.
Okay.
I like it not. What's the order?
What is the order? You guys are better at this than I am.
I'm
Is
first.
it closest to?
Yeah, it's
Is that-
closest to. You can go over closest to.
Just adding every digit, right?
You're adding every digit, yes.
Brett, Mikey,
I think so.
right?
Okay, Brett, Mikey.
Then me. Then Josh did the Matrix, and Jordan's on the.
Josh and George.
Point
Okay.
Break.
Point Break.
Brett, Mikey, Pappy, Josh Jordan.
The good Point Break.
Okay, Brett, what's up?
Man, I have no idea. I have some crazy number in my head, so I'm going to go with... You said just add, right?
Yep, just add.
10.
Okay. 10.
I was going to say 9.
9.
6.
6.
Oh, boy. I'm going to try to put Jordan in a tougher spot. So I'm going to say 17.
Nice. Taking all the big numbers.
Or Jordan can pick a nook.
1. Her address is 00001.
I think it's 15.
Her address, not knowing street, was 1634, adding up to a grand total
14?
of 14. Jordan, you are the
Yeah.
winner.
Oh,
Was that not a great trivia, boys?
That's
Long
was good.
conspiracy.
So does that mean it's going to be a couple months before we do our next pod, or...
Probably.
Bubble Boy. Bubble Boy.
Spoiler man?
Dude,
Oh, no.
I have it on my list.
Before Jordan gives us our next Jake Gyllenhaal movie, let's kick it over to
Please.
Spoiler Man.
deep into spoiler, man.
Spoiler Man here. Our email is podcastspoilers@gmail.com. Twitter is @spoilers_pod. Our Instagram is podcast spoilers. It's lit. Josh Hensley from the Rutabaga wrote our theme song. Our spoilers hotline is 903-776-4507. That's 903-SPOIL07. Please support this podcast by leaving us an iTunes review. To do this, 1. Search for movie spoilers. 2. Click on our orange Spoilers Bowl logo and scroll all the way to the bottom. 3. Leave us some stars and some words. Now you can check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Podcasts. If you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe on SoundCloud or iTunes.
Thank you to the band Go Hawaii for the music. Send us your music at any of the above. Check out a link to their Spotify in the episode description.
Jordan,
Jake Gyllenhaal's first movie, City Slickers.
Jordan, if you're having trouble picking something, pick 1954 Godzilla.
Happy's gonna do that.
City Slicker. That's his first movie? I don't think I've ever seen that.
I think so. Both those are good movies.
Abby, don't bring it back yet. I've got a list in like 4 different spots. Or
Jordan,
Stevie
didn't you promise your lady friend that you'd do a movie and you did Point Break, so don't you have a movie ready to go?
Shut the fuck up.
It was supposed to be a
Brad.
movie we'd already done.
Yeah, I think somebody else chose it. I think Josh chose it.
Was it Point Break 3?
No.
Oh, this is fuck this list. This is
No.
okay.
It was the
Ranker.com.
Breakfast Club.
Tom Hanks, Leo DiCaprio, Morgan Freeman, Christian Bale, De Niro, Anthony Hopkins, Denzel, Kevin Spacey, Robert Downey Jr., Gary Oldman, top 10 today. Screw that website.
If Jake Gyllenhaal's not there, it makes no sense.
I need more like a power rankings, like college football playoff poll. Like who's hot now? That's what I want to see.
Gosling.
What have you
like
done for me lately?
My three favorite actors are Cumberbatch, Hardy, and James McAvoy, but like young actors. But I love Bale and I love Gyllenhaal now, man.
Is that something that spoilers
Cumberbatch.
could do? We could start doing a power actors power rankings.
Playoff?
Love.
I love Jude Law too.
It'd be a nice little niche to
Jude
fill.
is good, bro.
Yeah.
Have you seen Sleuth with him and Michael Caine?
No, that sounds good. No.
Yeah, it's good. Watch Sleuth. Michael
Michael
Caine.
Caine. That was pretty good. That's a pretty good Cockney.
Is he an EastEnder?
I don't know. I know he speaks Cockney. That's
good
the
for him.
definition of Cockney. So
Yeah, EastEnder. Awesome. Jordan, I
Is
want
there
to go
a
to
third
bed.
Point Break?
Pick Surf Ninjas and we'll get over with it.
if
Come
you
on.
pick Swayze, you can't lose with Swayze. So
If you
Prince
don't
of
pick Surf
Persia.
Ninjas, I'm going to be angry at this
Oh,
point.
I found that movie. Okay. Yep. I'm good.
We're back.
Brrr, and we're back. Next host Jordan is picking.
You okay there, Stevie?
Dude, I'm dying. I'm sweating my bowels off.
Come on, get down
That's good writing because at the beginning of the pod, Steve was coughing, and now towards the end of the pod, he's coughing.
Set up and pay off, just like
it's like
Paddington
poetry.
2.
It rhymes.
stupefy.
For our next podcast, we're gonna go back a few years to Josh and Brett's time, 1976. We're gonna watch Carrie.
Oh,
Spooky spoilers.
Spooky spoilers is
John
over.
Travolta.
Get ready for some. Get ready for some
cannot
full
get out of
frontal.
here, John.
6 seconds in the movie.
This is a Kirsten pick.
Nice.
Is Kirsten going to be
I've
on
never
it?
seen this.
No, I don't think so. No.
No.
Jordan's
Oh my
made that
God.
decision already.
All right, well, cool. Well, hope you guys enjoyed me listening. Hope you guys enjoyed listening me cough my way deliriously through this pod.
Good effort,
And
Stevie.
come back next week to listen to Carrie. Thank you all. This was Spoilers.
They're all gonna laugh at you. I thought that was a really funny joke because of how violent.
To
Passion
Passion,
is.
to Christ. Revenge of the Jesus.
I'll send that to you guys. It's really funny. But what's up with Gladiator 2?
He died. Makes no sense.
It's gonna be Lucius is gonna be like the main focus.
Malfoy?
Yeah, he's gonna be wizarding people.
Ridley Scott's been making shitty sequels for a long time now.
It's not Ridley Scott,
Covenant
though.
was pretty solid, Pappy.
Huh? What was?
Covenant was pretty solid.
I hate Covenant.
Me and Jordan liked it. We gave it yeses.
It's
What?
not Ridley. It's not Ridley though.
Alien Covenant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boss Baby Covenant.
Boss
Dude, I don't
Baby
remember giving it a
Covenant.
yes.
Yeah, you
Covenant
did.
of the Boss Baby.
No, man, it's way too long.
Let's look up Prisoners on IMDb.
Oh, it is Ridley Scott, but the screenwriter's Peter Craig, who did Top Gun Maverick. What the heck is that?
It's the new Top Gun movie. It's with Miles Teller playing the tormented son of dead pilot Goose.
Oh,
Goose.
Scary thing is, Tom Cruise is probably going to be the most jacked person in that movie.
yeah.
His body just looks weird. It's like it wants to start feeling on him, but he refuses to let it. So it's at that weird stage of muscle, but you can tell where it's going.
Stevie's not going to like this new Gladiator. It's the same guy who wrote The Town.
The Town was just a knockoff of Heat in Boston.
I've never seen it. He also did 12 Strong and The Hunger Games Mockingjay.
Oh, Joshy's on.
12 Strong. What was
Chris Hemsworth. We bought that for my father-in-law for his birthday or Father's Day, and he loved it. So he's a military guy.
Yeah.
Too much toxic masculinity. Like there is such a thing.
There's never
What's up,
enough.
guys? What's up, Mikey?
Mikey, are you with Josh?
No.
So he hasn't
Hi,
touched...
Josh.
George?
He's on.
Josh,
Are the kids
why'd
in
you
bed?
change the Godzilla picture?
What?
Why'd you change the Godzilla picture?
There's
That's like the most classic of all profile pictures.
There's a story behind it.
Well, you might as well tell now. It's on the hijack.
Yeah, well, that's not that dramatic. But I had a friend who listed me, like an ex-coworker who listed me as a job reference, and they sent everything to that email instead of my email. So I thought he'd have a better chance getting the job if his good reference was coming from someone without a Godzilla dunking a basketball avatar.
This man should be taken very seriously.
He's so good at dunking basketballs and destroying Tokyo.
I
Terrible
do still
reason
love
to change an
Godzilla,
API.
and I'll probably change it back because I do love Godzilla and basketball.
That's a relief. Yeah.
Oh, good. I have a normal photo. All right.
Check.
I'm Brigsby Bear, right?
You're Brigsby Bear.
Okay,
Yeah, he's still Brigsby.
Brett, were you on the Brigsby episode?
No.
Oh.
What
Have
am
you seen
I?
it yet?
Have I seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it. That was during Spoilers Dark Times.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Let's just move. Let's just move on.
Now I'm curious.
Was it because Brigsby Bear's dark and everyone else thinks it's a happy-go-lucky tale, or?
Yeah, pretty much. No.
Josh said I had a naive look on the movie. Pompous asshole.
And over life in general. Be fair.
God. Stevie, you had a very naive viewing of this movie. It's exactly what you said. I wanted to punch you in the jaw through my screen. What a pretentious thing to say.
There's only really one Dark Times of spoilers, and it's
Higher.
good, and it's bad, and it's ugla.
Ugla.
There's several dark times. What are you talking about? There's lots of dark times.
Nothing as dark
Time
as
Bandits.
that. No, Time Bandits is the bright shining star.
What year did this? Okay.
Fuck is Nick Mullins?
He's a starter. Yeah, he's taking over for C.J. Beathard because he got hurt.
Who's C.J. Beathard?
A guy who roasted the Packers when he played him. He's kind of a nobody, but he's all right.
Oh, you're talking NFL?
Yeah, I'm guessing Joe and I are both watching the same thing.
Yeah, these two 1-7 teams.
Be fair, one of them's 1-6.
Oh.
I'm ready whenever y'all's are.
Might say they're prisoners to other teams.
Oh!
Trying to bring it back to the movie. Yuck.
That was good.
Why don't you turn your football off for a little bit?
I watch
Relax.
it. I watch it on mute
Spoilers.
every Thursday night when I'm in bed. You guys forced me into my bedroom.
I didn't have the TV on until Josh was 15 minutes late, so
3 minutes late.
We good to go?
No nut November.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. Not getting as much sleep.
Some of you guys have already had a huge Jack man today.
Yeah.
Hey,
right after work.
bad.
It was
That
go
was-
time.
Put the kids to bed.
Put future kids into a rag, I'd imagine.
Ugh, that was dark.
That's too far, Brett.
This is Prisoners.
one sec.
Being in a hole underneath a car with a shot out broken leg is like being a discarded sperm.
Yeah.
That's what this movie's all about.
This is spoilers.
That and Catholic guilt.
You think this
Oh,
movie's
let's not
about
get into
Catholic
that again.
guilt?
No.
Oh, there's some Catholic guilt.
I want to know about the Catholic guilt.
I want to know if we can drum some up.
I mean, this movie is literally about waging a war against God. So, yeah, let's
What
do
are you
it.
talking about?
What do you mean, what am I talking about? It's waging a war against God.
Said
Whatever.
explicitly twice.
They said it explicitly many times.
Mm-hmm.
Did they not say waging a war on God? Brett, like, what are you arguing?
This movie's like about good versus evil.
Yeah.
I don't even know what.
Can we get going?
Yeah, but this isn't going to die.
Yeah, this is going to come right out of the gates.
Well, don't throw it to me because
After this is spoilers, we're going straight to Brett.
I'll take your word
I am
for
on
it.
lots of medication, Brett. Let's do this.
If he says it, then he says it. I guess I remember it.
The lady says it.
The crazy lady?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Sample
Yeah, at
rate.
the end, right?
Hold on a second.
Hold on, I have to quit. I have to quit Audio City real quick.
City. The audacity. Shout out Derrick Rose, 50 points last night. Game high.
I never knew he
career
didn't
high.
score 50 for the Bulls.
I know that was a
I
surprise.
thought he at least scored 100.
He just scored 48 every single night. for like 2
Insane to
years.
me.
That's good for him,
His
though. I like
MVP
that.
runs were just ugh.
His interview afterwards was awesome. He's like, "Man, I worked my ass off to get back here."
Derrick Rose with dreads is greater than bald Derrick Rose all day. Good for him. Always rooting for
Happy's-
Derrick.
Happy's still a boot.
Pappy, are you here? Pap?
Oh God,
Oh God, we lost Pap.
the lady got Pap.
Vince finally murdered Pappy.
I think he's on mute. Maybe not. Yeah, he's on mute.
Ass down.
I didn't mute him.
Looks like he muted himself.
Well, I didn't mean to. I didn't try to. That was weird.
Yeah, right.
Oh, the old self.
No, I was trying to yell at Brett for 5 minutes.
Everyone ignoring Pap. Pap thought he was a ghost.
I remember it now. I thought you guys were just being
Still
normal.
kicking it to you, Brett.
It just
The rock's
happened again.
coming. Be prepared to shoot
Oh,
a 3.
dude. Spacebar mutes you. I accidentally hit spacebar. What I was trying to say is, Brett, are your microphone levels okay this time?
Said
Are you ready
Jordan
to go?
left.
Yeah,
We'll find
Jordan
out.
pressed spacebar, and his spacebar shortcut was hang
Let
up.
me check.
Well, it
Hello?
sounds like you have
Test.
all this extra time before people get
Test,
on. It's
test.
like you're making much use of it. When you could
Test,
be testing
test.
your microphone instead of
Test,
bitching.
test. Can you hear me? Test.
Solid.
No, you gotta
Yeah.
test on your end. Brett.
Someone
You
add
do-
Jordan.
I am testing, dude. It looks good.
Brett,
All
be
right,
excited for tonight. This is going to be a fun episode.
I am. I'm getting attacked.
No, I'm kicking the rock to everybody tonight. Don't worry.
All right, I added Jordan.
Okay.
I think.
I'm gonna have watery diarrhea in the next 20 minutes.
Exactly.
So
We should
gonna
do this
be
while
awesome.
everyone still is connected.
I tried to spacebar it and just hung up.
I knew it.
I'm the equivalent of
remap
having
that
4
space
glasses
bar.
of milk right now. I'm ready to go.
That's weird. Delete System 32 mutes you.
Fuck you. Fuck you, Pappy.
Mikey,
Oh, are we ready? All of us?
I think we're ready.
Oh, my tummy.
Too much milk.
All right, stand by.
Oh, not yet. Oh, fuck.
Steve, do you have a spoiler?
Yeah, my ass is about to have volcanic diarrhea come out of it.
Too much milk?
No, I'm sick, Brett.
My ass.
I've been fighting this to get here. I've been fighting this since Monday.
Applaud your effort.
I'm a man, Brett. I'm 40.
I'm 40. I'm a man.
No, you're not.
Come after me.
Come after me. It's right. Yeah.
Like
All
you
right.
do it.
I think I might just
Stand by.
record from the bathroom tonight. We'll see.
3,
I'm in so
2,
much pain.
1, go.
Can we restart?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Stop talking about your ass.
Can't. I have so many questions about it. After the pod. All right. Good to go now.
Yep.
Stand by. 3, 2, 1, go.